All right, guys, thanks a lot for having us here. Thanks a lot, Richard, for inviting us. My name is Moritz. This is Mark. Today we're going to present some of the things that we're building around Tenzorum. All right, Tenzorum is basically what we're creating is an end-to-end onboarding toolkit to allow dApps to integrate into full, seamless onboarding experience for users. We're creating all the technology around to basically guarantee that users can go to a dApp and basically have the best experience possible. And what I'm going to show you guys today, this is a disclaimer, is literally bleeding edge technology on the Ethereum community. There was insane amount of discussions about this thing in DevCon. So some of the questions you guys may have about game theory, about how exactly the mechanism design works around some of these things, we may not have a question. And if you guys have come up with some questions that we don't have answers, we may not have an answer. If you guys come with some of these questions, I urge you to think about it and join our community to basically guarantee that this community can move forward. So just as quick intro, who am I and what's the story and how that kind of got into the rabbit hole. My name is Moritz. I'm from Brazil originally, and I'm one of the co-founders of Tenzorum. And what happened is that I was studying in Sydney and doing really heavy into the whole startup ecosystem in Sydney. I had funding for another startup, was kind of looking all over the place, seeing, and I really wanted to see what people are doing best all over the world. And then I got invited to go to Stanford to become an entrepreneur fellow into one of the communities that they have there, the ACES community for Asian Pacific. And when I was at Stanford, I heard the first time the word blockchain. And I didn't quite look at it, it's just was someone talking blockchain something, and that kind of stuck in my mind. And then I met a guy there that was from China, and he invited me to go to China to run a similar program for entrepreneurs in Hangzhou. So we flew from Stanford to China, and in China was the first time that I heard the word crypto. And that was really kind of, all right, so blockchain, crypto, that was something called Bitcoin. When I came back to Australia, I looked a little bit, I remember, in Ethereum, and I realized that Ethereum was the ultimate machine for decentralized, for sharing economy. And that really blew my mind. All right, so now we can build things without even having the middle layer. And then I became a core contributor in one of the biggest communities in Australia. I wrote some of the most used tutorials in smart contracts on the whole community. If you guys look at right now on Google how to issue a token or how to do an ICO, I'm number 1 and number 2. And basically I create the tutorials that teach people how to do these things on the technical side. And then from work inside the community, our community was able to identify some killer problems into the ecosystem around blockchain in terms of usability, in terms of experience around being onboarded into applications. And this is where we led to Tenzorum. Tenzorum is fully focused on creating a killer experience for users. So from people here who run dApps, who run applications, who run business, it's said on the startup culture that over 80% of resources of the startup should be focused on the first minute that your user is playing with your application. And it looks like we kind of forgot this when we're talking about dApps. So we basically create this whole friction and barrier, and this is how the infrastructure is now set up. And right now we don't have, and most people here, and even me and everybody kind of that is into this ecosystem. All right, I have a MetaMask that is loaded with ETH, so I feel comfortable about playing with a dApp. And I have my account already registered in Exchange, so I feel comfortable playing with Exchange and everything else. But if you think about mainstream, if you think about how people actually interface with these technologies, it's absurd to expect that a user will just to decide if they're gonna play or not an application, we download MetaMask or something like this. So literally, we're creating this Goldberg machine to get into dApps, into using dApps, all right? The journey usually starts like this. You have, all right, blockchain, that's quite interesting. And then you heard about decentralization, right? So this has some potential, this can do some things for you. And then, all right, what is ETH? Why do I need ETH to do anything into the ecosystem? And then someone gives you a piece of paper and say, you cannot lose this piece of paper. You should have some backups, but not too many, but some. And you kind of get into this, all right, so how I actually do this, and who I call if things go wrong, and why do you actually need my passport if you go to buy some ETH on exchange? and then you show, oh, this is yourself on the blockchain, 0x1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, literally, we just don't understand how can all of this kind of be put together to actually give just to use a dApp, all right? So looking at this onboarding experience, we are looking, and basically we found two verticals of main problems that cause this whole experience. The first one is key management, all right? When a user gets into use a dApp for the first time, they are uneducated users, meaning that they don't care, they don't understand what blockchain is, and they don't care. All they want to do is somehow get value from the dApp. And then when we giving them a private key and everything, we're creating single point of failures, because as soon as you start putting funds into that app and you lose those funds, everything is gone forever. And just in terms of usability, the 0x, the private keys, and all the experience that users have around keys, it's completely mind-blowing. It doesn't make any sense if we talk about mainstream. And on the other side, we have the gas system, all right? The gas system, if you guys don't know, like on Ethereum, to do anything, you have to pay in Ethereum, you have to pay in gas. And when we talk about building applications, about building tools and everything just becomes insane when you have to rely on another token to use your token. One video that I was watching yesterday is this analogy for how does utility tokens are used and work right now. So there's this guy, he's in the desert, and then he goes to the desert and he finds this place that sells juices, all right? So to buy a juice, he needs a lemon token, but he doesn't have a lemon token. So he runs out of the desert, he finds a way to buy the lemon token, he comes back, and then he buys the lemon token. And that's the kind of story. So all right, so to use, I'm creating this store where you just use that. The reality is even worse, all right? The reality is that he not only have to get the lemon token, but he also has to get ETH to transact from his wallet to this merchant, all right? So this is the kind of thing that we're trying to avoid, creating a system around it. So now, we're going to show you a demo of the technology that we're creating, and I'm going to kind of explain what's happening. And I'll really ask you guys, please go to metaconnect.org. It's going to be really cool, I assure you, all right? And then I'm going to show you in the back end what's happening. Metaconnect.org, and scan someone by your side. You're going to get a token right now, real time, all right? I'm going to scan someone so I can really know that you guys are doing this.
So what we're going to do here is show you what a consumer would see. So we've built this proof of concept based on things like decentralized identity, ephemeral accounts in the browser, and decentralized databases, which is interesting what Michael was touching on before, is because we think the blockchain solutions need that a consumer solution needs things like decentralized identity. They also need a transaction blockchain. They also need a database blockchain. So we've actually put all three of those things in here. So if you go to this website, metaconnect.org, and you sign up, let's just say my name is Mark, I start, and what I've just done is created an ENS name. So this is a public address that resolves to a human readable name. And if I add my social media in here, and just my Telegram. So this is the consumer application is a social business card. So if you interact with people and you don't want to pull out your business card, I think a lot of you may notice in the blockchain space, not a lot of people have paper business cards. So this is our blockchain solution to kind of incentivize people to interact more in the blockchain space. And if someone could scan this, is it Neto?
Yeah.
Approve. Do you want to scan me again?
Yeah, I got it.
We'll see who gets it first, I guess. Connected? Okay, so this is the problem with decentralization. Your address has to propagate through the network to find my own. This is actually a decentralized backend using IPFS. Try again.
I got this. It was working.
Okay.
Man, but I think the connection in the computer is not going to see.
Okay.
Just show the backend with the private keys.
All right. Okay. Cool. I'll
Wait 1 second.
It's working on the phones, but not on the computer.
Okay. Yeah. This is always the demo gods come to kill you. Yeah. So you see that Moritz has now interacted with me, and I get his details. But okay, Vincent's now interacted with me as well. So cool. Thanks, Vincent. So So what we can do is click through to that and then go to his Twitter account, click straight through, go to Telegram, and get all of his information. So it's really convenient, and we approve, and then we get minted 1 of token. So that's what a consumer sees. And I just created this account here, and I want to show you guys basically what happens in the back end. So an account is created here, so we have a private key and an address in the browser. This is an ephemeral key, so this is not to be treated as a key that holds all of your funds. Let's do Bitcoin Wednesday. Yay. All right, and what I'm gonna do is show you guys that we're actually minting a token every time that you do a meta connection. Oh, it's kind of mine. I'll do the cool. All right, and we approve this guy. We've just made a meta connection, and then, you know, to the mercy of the Robston blockchain, we'll see a transaction hash come through here. Cool. So what we can do is, this is Etherscan. For all who don't know, this is how you view the Ethereum blockchain through a portal. So if I want to resolve that Bitcoin Wednesday human readable address, this is how you can send transactions to an address without having to get this public address, which is a cryptographic hash, which is very unfriendly to users. So that's just one part of the solution. And then here we see that our share love transaction has gone through. So we can see on Etherscan that this transaction. So we've actually done, okay. Oh, that's Ether. It's not Roasting.
It's still being included.
What's the name? It's the username, and then what's the
.tenzorum-id.eth. There we go. So what you'll see here is that this address has come from someone. This is actually a relayer. So we're signing a transaction using this private key, sending it to a relayer, and that relayer is taking that transaction and putting it on the blockchain. So we don't need ETH in this address. This address just needs to sign a message and send it to a relayer network that then puts that onto the blockchain, which is the problem Neto was talking about before, is that we don't need gas as a new user coming onto the blockchain, which reduces a lot of friction to a new user.
All right, cool. That was the first demo. There's another one coming soon. But, all right, so fundamentally, it's not working. Yeah, it is working. The things you didn't see basically using the demo that you guys now you guys already saw, but the idea is that you didn't see gas, you didn't see blockchain, you didn't see ETH, you didn't see private keys, you didn't see NS domains, but you just use all of this. You just use gas, you just use blockchain, you just private keys, you just tokens. And this is the experience that we want to give to all dApps, and this is basically what we're creating on SDK, where you can connect into our things. So, basically, what's the experience that we want to give to all these dApps, all right? You imagine different dApps into the ecosystem. Each one of these dApps has a key, a private key, or something like that, and this resolves to an identity contract. This identity contract is resolved by your ENS domain that you claim the first time that you're doing that. And all of these keys have permissions on this identity contract. It's, as someone said, a multi-signature wallet. And basically what these permissions allows you to do, because all these keys are empty, they don't have ETH, is to do meta transactions. And a meta transaction is when a second layer that pays for the gas, called relayer, and allows the users to transact without having to hold any ETH. So we have a relayer network that pays for the gas, and then the user can transact. All right. So the questions is like, what do relayers do? So first thing, they pay for the transaction of the users. They take fees of selected ERC20. So like this is probably someone's gonna ask, and then I'm gonna like already start to explain right away, is that the relayers get rewarded in two ways to do this work, because all right, they're paying for the ETH, they have an expense, and what we're trying to allow them is to basically take a cut of the transaction of any ERC20. So this is the use case, all right? I have my game or my lottery or something like that you need my token. And me as a relayer, I'm gonna pay the gas of my user to allow them to basically play with my game without having to have any ETH, but I'm gonna take a cut of some ERC20 that I accept. Maybe it's my own token, maybe it's the token from someone else. But the idea is that the user will pay a premium somehow on this gas fee, but in any ERC20. So they're gonna be able to transact, doesn't have to go after ETH, doesn't have to go after anything. And the second thing is that exactly as somehow the architecture of the Ethereum blockchain works, the Bitcoin blockchain works, the proof of work works, where you have two kind of rewards to these miners. The miners take the gas fee, and the miners get newly issued tokens. So it's the same thing. The relayers here get the gas fee, the cut of the ERC20, and also get newly minted Tenzorum tokens, which is our project. And what relayers need? They need to stake ETH and Tenzorum. Basically ETH to pay for the transactions, and Tenzorum because what we're creating is basically a layer 2 solution, a protocol that allows users that can create this ecosystem and to basically have a ranking system. Who has more Tenzorums will be able to have a preference to execute these transactions. And some of the user cases of meta transactions is subscriptions, it's private transactions, multi-device to authentication, recovery, single token dApps. And right now you guys may think, all right, this is maybe the first time that I heard about meta transaction. This is bleeding edge, but who actually in the ecosystem is thinking about this? Oops. All right, so let me jump here and I'll come back. Who cares about meta transactions right now? So we have this group, it's called Volkshotel, and this was one of the coolest things that happened in DevCon. And we have people from Ethereum Foundation, from Golan, from Gnosis, some of the biggest projects in the ecosystem working right now on different applications of meta transactions. And we all working together into this community to guarantee that we have the right standards and we can push forward into the different applications at once and kind of like guarantee that we can evolve faster. And this is the whole idea behind open source, this is the whole idea behind creating this environment where everybody can express. And like there was many discussions about meta transactions. We're now collaborating with people from all these companies on different use cases and like different kind of authentications behind it. And then this was some things that happened recently that we are, I don't know if you guys know Huobi. Huobi is the second biggest cryptocurrency exchange in the world. And basically they mentioned, looking at the technology that we're building, that this is one of the core milestones that we have to reach to basically onboard the mainstream into blockchain. And recently, Taavi Rõivas, the former Prime Minister of Estonia, became an advisor in Tenzorum project. We have some videos of him using our technology, seamless, I'm gonna show you guys. And the idea is that basically we're trying to create this self-sovereign type of identity, I'm going to show you, that connects to the wallets of users and allow them to basically resolve into the ENS domains. And one more thing that I wanted to kind of show you guys, one more demo, is exactly this thing that I just mentioned, this what we call TenzID. I don't know if you guys know how the ENS domain works, but to claim an ENS domain, you have to go to an auction system that takes 5 days, that you have to bid against other people, and literally, so to claim a username, you have to go to 5 days of work. And we thought, all right, we can do this a little bit different. And so we deploy one of the first subdomain factories in the world, and you can literally claim your ENS in 40 seconds, 2 clicks, and we're gonna show you right now how to do it. Mark. All right, yeah, it's simple. So like the idea is like tenzorum.org/tenzid. And this is already on mainnet. This is already live. No, come on. Put something in. Richard.
So we can't get Bitcoin Wednesday anymore, right?
Yeah, we got it, but we can transfer.
Okay.
So just send me the address and we transfer. All right, so we claim this TenzID on mainnet. Now it's pending. We put a lot of gas, so it's paying like 2-3x what should be gas, so it's gonna go fast. I believe. $43 success. Amazing. So now he can go there, type Richard Tenzorum ID.eth, and it's going to resolve for ENS, all right? And this can already, and if you go to MetaMask, and you don't have to type someone's literal address, and all you have to do is type this, and this is open. Someone can fork our code and put something that they think is more user-friendly. The whole idea is that we're just trying like to pave the road so people can build on top of these things. And that was us. Thank you very much for having us, guys. If you guys have any questions, please talk to us. Thank you very much. I'm going to try to answer them.
Okay, we're going to just take a couple questions because we still have one more speaker. Any questions? Or otherwise, we'll save those for the break. Did I see a hand? Yep, okay. I don't know which hand was first. Yeah?
I mean, this because I've tried it, right? So I opened like 3 actually browsers. So what if like my browser session restarted? Basically, I lose my identity in general. So like you can run out of names basically. If for example I can open 10 browser and I can have like 10 identities all at the same time.
Yeah, you can do this with all the names if you want. Basically, so this was one of the things. This is the classic Sibyl attack, all right? What if I want to create infinite accounts with different names? I just pull out of the dictionary and just pull everything. So there's some ways that we're looking at it, and this is not even only for claiming names. You can think, all right, since we have this relayer that's paying for the gas to everybody, all right, I can just, as a joke, put like infinite requests to these relayers, just drain all the gas. So there's something called counterfactual contracts. And the idea is that you can claim a domain, you can claim a space on the blockchain before actually paying for the gas. And this technology is already built. There's a few companies in the meta cartel that are already implementing, and there's a lot of basically look around how to do this. And there's several proposals on the other side in terms of, okay, still we're paying gas for users before they actually give us any value. So there's a proposal that, okay, let's try to first the user gets into the Robson network, all right? So he's not on mainnet yet. He starts to use the application, he gets the deal public key, private key, he gets somehow educated. And when he does the first transaction, on this first transaction, you get a cut of the transaction, and then you deploy everything at once for the user. But that's one of the things. So like, you basically won't spend any money before the user actually creating value on the network.
All right, I don't really have a question, but I mostly just want to thank you for doing this work, because like this is one of the problems that I ran into with Ethereum specifically, just being able to do transactions or interacting with the network without using or like without having to own Ethereum. And like this is great work. So I just wanted to thank you, and also because I think like truly adoption for cryptocurrencies will have to come through making interacting with blockchain and solving problems with blockchain actually easier than solving problems with traditional systems, and this is the kind of solution that we need. So thank you very much.
Thanks.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much.